Page 214. Despite still being ill, Xi Feng made her way outside with Xi Chun to try and work out what had been stolen. They found many empty cases and chests, which must have taken a long time to ransack. They wondered what the servants on duty had been doing during the robbery, and quickly surmised that since Zhou Rui's godson was involved, that it must have been an inside job. Xi Feng ordered that all the women on duty be taken to the police to be interrogated. At this order, they all began to sob and cry for mercy. They then heard Bao Yong shouting from outside that he had found that the thieves had been led in by the nun. Xi Feng became distraught at this news. Page 215. After the Lady Dowager's coffin had been set down in the Iron Threshold Temple, Jia Zheng and the rest of the family said their final goodbyes. As they began to leave, they noticed that concubine Zhou was still kneeling down. At first, they thought she was still mourning, but as the family approached her, they saw that her eyes had glazed over and she was foaming at the mouth. Jia Huan began to cry at the sight, and everyone was deeply shocked. Concubine Zhou suddenly looked up and shouted, "You cannot take me back. I will stay with the Lady Dowager forever." The family began to murmur that Yuan Yang's spirit had possessed her. Yet she suddenly screamed, "I am not Yuan Yang. She has gone to heaven. The king of hell has come for me to try me for practicing witchcraft with Priestess Ma." Concubine Zhou's seizure and screaming continued throughout the night. She kept wailing and pulling off her clothes as if she was being attacked and stripped by unseen forces. By the time a doctor arrived, she was dead. Page 216. Xi Feng's health continued to deteriorate. Yet neither Madame Xing nor Madame Wang came to visit her, which made her feel even worse. Even her husband Jia Lian barely asked after her when he was at home. One morning, Granny Liu and her granddaughter Qing'er came to visit Xi Feng and were shown in by some of her servants. Granny Liu was deeply upset when she saw how frail Xi Feng was and how rapidly she had got worse. After she learned that Xi Feng had not only been treated unfairly, but had also seen a ghost, Granny Liu promised to go to the temple and make an offering in her name. "My life is now in your hands," Xi Feng murmured to her. please look after my daughter, 乔姐儿. Please look after my daughter, 乔姐儿, if anything should happen to me. 晴儿 and 乔姐. 晴儿 and 乔姐 retired to talk together and soon became close friends. 晴儿 and 乔姐. And this is Granny Liu Lao, and this is Xi Feng. Page 217. After Dai Yu had died, Zijuan had been sent to serve Bao Yu, and now lived on the west side of the courtyard. When Bao Yu was reminded of Dai Yu, he sought Zijuan out to talk with her. He stood outside Zijuan's window and begged her to let him in, but she would not open her door. Bao Yu called out, "Do not treat me like this, Zijuan. You used to be kind to me, yet now you treat me with contempt. I know I am not worthy of your time or company, but please just tell me what I've done to upset you, so that even if you continue to ignore me, I will know the reason when I die." Yet Zijuan said nothing in reply, though Bao Yu could hear her weeping inside her room. He stamped his feet in frustration. "You are the only person left who understands me. If I cannot speak to you, then what can I do? Are you really so happy to see me die at my wit's end?" At that moment, She Yue appeared to bring Bao Yu back home. He had no choice but to go with her, though he cursed himself and worried that he would never be able to tell anyone how he really felt. Page 218. Xi Feng's illness soon became critical. She became delirious and began to scream for the servants to bring her a boat and a sedan chair so that she could return to Jinling to complete the register. She shouted and wailed, but no one could understand what she meant. It was not long before Bao Yu and Bao Chai received word that Xi Feng had passed away, and they therefore went straight to her room and shed many tears. Jia Lian could not manage on his own, and so called for Lai Da and asked him to arrange the funeral. Then Jia Lian reported this to Jia Zheng and got his approval. However, having little money in hand, they had difficulty arranging a grand ceremony. He therefore called for Xi Feng's brother, Wang Ren, to come and help him. Yet Wang Ren was outraged at the cheapness of the plan and admonished Jia Lian, saying, "My sister spent her whole life working hard for your family, and yet now you do not even bother to show her any respect with these poor arrangements." Jia Lian was saddened by these words, but soon realized that Wang Ren did not understand the severity of their situation, so took to ignore him.